If you look at young adults' personalities, like actual personalities, there's a massive change in different personality traits by age group. So, for example, conscientiousness, which is basically your willingness to take responsibility for your own actions, dutifully doing the thing you're supposed to do. That has declined among people age 60 plus from maybe 55% of people down to about 50% of people. For people age 40 to 59, it's declined from just above 50% to just above 40%. For people who are age 16 to 39, it has declined from 45% in 2016 to below 30% in 2025, which is disastrous. Conscientiousness is a good thing. Conscientiousness dictates whether you are going to actually be a productive member of society, and it's diving in America right now. You don't feel responsible for other people, and you barely feel responsible for yourself. Neuroticism, which is essentially kind of a worried aspect of mind. Jordan Peterson talks about this a lot. Neuroticism being a sort of predictor of stress levels, high stress, exploding, particularly among young people. People 60 plus, basically where they were in 2016. People who are between 40 and 59 have increased slightly. People who are age 16 to 39 exploded. Neuroticism went from 60% in 2016 to over 70% today. Agreeableness, meaning do you get along with other people or try to get along with other people? People age 60, pretty steady. People who are age 40 to 59, agreeableness has declined by about 8 to 10 percentage points. Again, people 16 to 39, it has dropped off a cliff. Went from the mid 40s all the way down to the mid 30s. So people are less agreeable, more neurotic, and significantly less conscientious if they are young. And meanwhile, for all groups, extroversion has gone down, meaning people are just not associating with one another. They're not talking with one another. So that is leading to some pretty terrible behavior as well, like sociopathic behavior that is then treated as normalized by the internet. And that cuts in, I think, a bunch of different ways, like really a lot of different ways. In one way, it means that sort of traditional American normalcy is treated as totally crazy because the neurotics treat it as nuts. A good example being Sydney Sweeney Gate. Right? Sweeney Gate is now entering week 3, which is totally insane. It is just a jeans ad with an attractive woman wearing a low-cut jean jacket, essentially. And this blew up the internet. Why? Because agreeableness, down. Because neuroticism, up. Those would be the reasons. And apparently, the expectation in the media is that American Eagle, which is the company that did the ad, is supposed to cave to all of the neuroticism. Good for American Eagle, they are not. I guess the disagreeableness goes both ways. American Eagle said on Instagram that the ad campaign, quote, is and always was about the jeans, her story. We'll continue to celebrate how everyone wears their AE jeans with confidence, their way. Great jeans look good on everyone. And this, of course, is ticking off some of the usual sort of politically correct sources. Nathan Miller, founder and CEO of the crisis management firm Miller Inc., said, quote, the corporate comm script is you apologize when you offend people. Now they do the cost-benefit analysis and realize if you do apologize, it's not going to placate the critics and will also promote further ire from those that initially applauded the campaign. Miller says you're seeing a lot of brands trying to distance themselves from what was previously described as woke culture. They believe there's a market for those who don't abide by the cultural norms that were previously enforced. And that's a good thing, right? Again, that is a good thing that they're not abiding by those norms. But there have been no replacement norms. There's been no reversion to traditional norms. Instead, what you are getting is memery on all sides. So you're getting the memery of the idea that Sydney Sweeney is a Nazi, or that people who like her ad or think she's pretty are Nazis. And then on the right, you are getting, what is clearly meme material and is funny, but is also kind of sociopathic behavior. I mean, both those things can be true. So, for example, big controversy has now broken out over WNBA games where people are throwing toys on the court. Now, just by any normal stretch of human behavior, this is a bad thing to do. You should not go to games and throw toys on the court. It's obscene. It's ridiculous. And no matter how much you dislike WNBA, you probably shouldn't go there and throw a giant on the court, right? I mean, like, just as a human, you probably shouldn't do it. Is it funny? Sure. A lot of things are funny. A lot of violative and transgressive behavior is funny. Does it mean it's good? Not really, but the internet culture and subculture has become so reactionary, so reactive, and so disagreeable that this thing is now like actually driving economic decision-making. There's an article in the New York Times over the weekend, WNBA toy incidents may be linked to cryptocurrency group's money scheme. I mean, that reads like a fever dream. Quote, late in the first half of a LA Sparks Indiana Fever game on Tuesday night, a neon green toy thrown from the stands landed on the floor of Crypto.com Arena at the feet of Indiana guard Sophie Cunningham. Simultaneously, a group of people during an audio live stream on X reveled in the moment and celebrated its potential to help boost the value of a particular meme coin, a cryptocurrency deriving from an internet meme, but traded through very real markets online. The coin was created July 28th, the day before the first occurrence of a toy being thrown on a WNBA court. As of Thursday, the coin's worth had nearly tripled in its first week. Someone is tweeting, there's one at the Sparks game, one person said on the stream. That is literally the best case scenario we could possibly imagine, another replied, because the toy had fallen near Cunningham, who had previously posted a plea for spectators not to throw the objects onto the court, which was met with numerous replies of memes involving the phallic object. The disruption in LA appeared to be part of a coordinated effort born out of conversations held in some particularly murky, often mysterious corners of internet culture, social media, and opportunistic plays in the cryptocurrency markets. And in the normal world, all of this would be treated as psychopathic or sociopathic behavior, truly. Like going to games and throwing toys on the court, regardless of how much you dislike the sport, would be considered at the very least bizarre and at the worst kind of vile. It could be funny, sure. A lot of vile behavior is funny, but it just shows a country with a robust social fabric does not have this kind of behavior, or at least it has less of this kind of behavior, because you wouldn't do this in your community, would you? And again, I know I'm treating seriously what is a frivolous topic, but I think that we are now entering, with the merger of the internet and the real world, we are now entering a time where there are no more frivolous topics. Every frivolous topic becomes an indicative symptom of true social ills that are dividing us from one another. Like if you can't get together and say, yeah, we probably shouldn't do that. Or yeah, you know what, Gene's ad with Sydney Sweeney, like who cares? Like that's fine. Like what happened to normalcy? As normalcy disintegrates, and as people take one side or the other on ridiculous meme sociopathy, what you end up with is a very, very polarized electorate. And that's particularly true as young people age into the voting population. You're seeing it in terms of sexual polarization between men and women. Women are swinging wildly to the left. Men are moving significantly more to the right. You're seeing it in terms of political polarization, where it's more about aesthetic feel than it is even about policy for a lot of these folks. And so, is it a problem? How does this tie into gerrymandering? I mean, it doesn't, in the sense that gerrymandering has been going on since 1812 when Elbridge Gerry was first doing it. But it does say something about the continuing social polarization of a country addicted to its phones, addicted to memes, addicted to the laws, as opposed to the things that actually build a society, namely you spending time with other human beings in a physical setting with a common goal of making your society, country, or community better.